Welcome to No Instructions. I'm Bob.
Did you do that early?
No.
Okay. Oh, he pointed at you?
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't watching. I'm Josh. We're good at this.
Should we start over?
No. Remember when we said we were preparing? You guys prepared.
Oh, yeah. We prepared. Anyway, this is a show. This is a podcast that we do called No Instructions, and I am one of your hosts, Bob Claggett.
And I'm Josh Price.
Welcome.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Maybe we should do like a little thing for people who might not know what it is that we're doing here.
Huh.
And think about that, because that's what in the land of radio, you always have to tell people who you are constantly.
Right.
Annoying to your normal listeners.
Right.
But people who are not normal.
I think the difference is that here, people probably, this is an assumption on mine, that probably wouldn't get here unless they already knew kind of who we were or what I Like to Make Stuff was. Maybe
they're perusers, or they think that No Instructions is a title of a podcast in a separate genre that they may be interested in, and they're like,
this is not what I wanted.
This is not it. This is not my infatuation with IKEA furniture. Dudes are talking about stuff.
Yeah, well, we are two dudes who talk about stuff. So now you are all caught up with what this podcast is, because that's really about it. If you're just listening, we often build Lego sets. Today we are building models. Mm-hmm. If you're watching, then you can see that. Today we are both building the same, not the same model, but each have our own of the same model. Today we are making the Mandalorian from Bandai. This is a snap-together model kit that's posable, super cool. These are pretty neat sets. I like these a lot.
I don't know if anybody can actually get these sets now, because when I saw that they were pre-order many, many months ago, I jumped on it and I got one for the two of us. And a couple weeks later, I went to look, and they were all sold out. So I don't know if they're back in stock, but this is a super cool model set.
Have you ever done one of these before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did one. What did I do?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
I did a model set that is somewhere.
I mean, one of the characters? One of the Bandai characters?
What did I do?
I don't know.
It's probably around here somewhere. Someone who listens to the show.
A speeder bike, speeder bike trooper and the speeder bike was a really cool one. I think that was one of the first ones I did on the show, actually. And I've done a Darth Vader, both from this series. And they have very similar joint mechanisms, but all the sculpting is totally different.
I've done one of these kits on the show, and I don't remember what it was. I did a model kit of the little mech thing from the anime cartoon that I've never watched. I just thought it looked cool. But I thought I did a Bandai set. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. So what are we going to do today? We got to kind of jump into it because I think it's going to take a while.
Yeah. So we need to be more prepared. I did a thing.
Good job.
Yeah. We were talking about Christmas movies, and in the video that we put out today, that was the build-off between you and I.
Yes.
We had a Christmas-themed project video where we both built our interpretation of a nutcracker. Came out a few days after Shane from Stuff Made Here made a 50 caliber nutcracker, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
But I would post to everybody who responded in the comments of our video. They're like, "Oh, he made it, and he definitely would have won. He could not have busted the coconut that you broke."
It's true.
So, not that it's bad. Different nutcrackers for different folks.
Yeah, it's possible that I could have cracked other nuts that he could not have cracked with that. Simply because...
Form factor.
Yeah.
You went outside of the realm of a traditional-looking nutcracker. And so did I.
It's not a competition.
It's not, but it was a build-off.
So it was a little bit kind of a competition.
Well, but not with him.
Right.
Yeah.
It would have been way more fun.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
We would have been done way faster. But his video was fantastic. So if you are interested in really cool project videos with like deep cut engineering and iteration and back to the drawing board, like Stuff Made Here makes fantastic videos.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's great.
Still didn't break a coconut, though. But anyway, realm of like, in the video we were talking about, jokingly, about like, this is Die Hard, a Christmas movie, and a lot of people are very active in the comment section, whether they're for or against, and they're pleading their case. So I did a thing, which I encourage everybody at home listening. I will post this on social media before the episode is live. I made some Christmas movie brackets.
Brackets?
Yeah, brackets, like the basketball, like Final Four. So we have some quarterfinals, semifinals, finals, and I have just randomly put some Christmas movies up against other Christmas movies so that we can figure out which is the penultimate Christmas movie.
Did you randomly put them together, really?
I did, actually.
Okay.
I had a system, and then I put it through Excel. I don't know who you think you're dealing with, but yes.
Well, I didn't know if you loaded it. That's all. Like if you set up certain competitions.
I assigned each. I wrote down a bunch of movies, and then I went to and I Googled what are the best whatever like must see Christmas movies, and some website had like the 65 all time greatest, and so I picked ones that I think that you and I have seen. Okay. And then I assigned each one of those a number, and then I randomized the numbers, and I grouped them together on this form.
Gotcha.
So, if you want to play along, I'll post this in the No Instructions Instagram and Twitter, and probably on mine and maybe on Bob's. So we can encourage people that if you want to do this at your house with your people, that you could follow along too. I don't know if we're going to come up with the No Instructions greatest Christmas movie, because I imagine that we're going to differ.
Yeah, I would think so.
So
we have to be able to mark these. I don't have something to mark them with.
Nor do I.
Ooh. Whoa!
Oh,
hey,
boy.
There's a flying Sharpie. Cool.
Bear me a pencil. Anthony's got a pencil.
All right, so we're gonna mark our own here, and we'll just see where we.
Yeah, so we'll go like, just competition by they're in pairs, and then the winner of that pair goes on to the winner of another pair, and eventually the right side of the paper will battle the left side of the paper. Again, there's no rhyme or reason as to where they are actually located.
Thank you. Oh, look at all those pens.
You want one of these, or you want Sharpie?
Yeah, I'll take the pen. Okay.
So get your friends together, get your spouses together, and then you guys can have a friendly little movie Christmas time battle.
If you have multiple spouses, make sure to print out multiple pieces of paper.
That's correct. So the first one is everybody at home. Do you have your papers? Turn the page.
Turn the page.
Did you ever listen to those audiobooks on... When I was a kid, we used to go to the library, and they would have a book in a bag that had a cassette tape with it, and you would either put it in your Teddy Ruxpin, or you could just listen to it. And it had a little, like...
Oh, yeah.
Bell. Turn the page.
I still have a bunch. I don't know if I have the tapes, but I've got books of those from Voltron, Transformers, Star Wars, at least. Yeah. Probably He-Man.
Do you want to... I'll ask Anthony. Anthony, do you want to start on the right side or the left side? We'll go back and forth like ping pong.
I want to start on the left side.
Anthony says left side. Okay, the left side, the first battle in the No Instructions 2021 Christmas Movie Championship is the original Grinch versus the original Rudolph.
Grinch. Both good. I think,
Which one, if you had the choice to watch this one or that one?
Yeah, Grinch. It's got a lot more heart to it.
I like the songs better.
They're both good, yeah.
I really like this. I'm going to go with the Grinch. Not that Rudolph is bad. Rudolph has some enduring moments. I think there's way too much fluff added to Rudolph.
Yeah, it's longer than most of the other Christmas like animated things, and you can tell. But it is good.
Cornelius, like Yukon Cornelius.
I like him. Silver and Gold, like that's a pretty good. And he he tastes the ice pick, or the pick, whatever.
I did like Herbie. He got it. Yeah. I don't know. That's pretty close. I didn't promise this was going to be easy, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going Grinch for sure. Both good, but
do I want to go with? I don't really like the Grinch.
You don't like the Grinch?
But I like the song. I guess he is better at the end. All right, I'll put Grinch since I said that. That was my hip pocket reaction, and now I'm thinking too deep about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to go to the right side. Ooh, this one I'm sure is going to make Anthony and probably a lot of people that I know upset, including my children. Well, maybe not my children, more Anthony. Home Alone. So we're going to say the franchise. So it's not Home Alone 1 or 2 because there's 5 of them now?
But are 3 and 4 Christmas movies? I can't remember.
I don't know. I'm going to ignore that 3 and 4 exist. So I say Home Alone because there was only so many spots.
Well, let's just say the
first two.
The first two.
First two. Okay. First two together.
Macaulay Culkin series.
Yeah. Macaulay Culkin Home Alone movies.
Cinematic universe. Versus
the very classic Bing Crosby White Christmas.
I will be honest, I've never seen White Christmas. I want to, but I have not. So I'm going to have to go Home Alone just because it defaults.
I've heard the music, but I think I have just recently seen White Christmas, and I took it as it's a 50s, whatever, however old it is. It must be bad because it's not relatable. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's a veteran elf in the war, and they're trying to make it nice, and then he comes back from the war, and then they start this production, and it's not a bad movie. I mean, if you've heard the song White Christmas, that's where it comes from. But I'm going to have to go with Home Alone. Even though White Christmas is good, it has its merits. Home Alone.
Yeah. Same here.
Okay. So now we get into the controversial part on the left side. Because yes, Die Hard made it on the list. But this is one that I did have influence over. Open kimono here. I did. So Die Hard versus another non-traditional Christmas movie that I'm sure people could argue about. So I did have influence on the position of this movie.
Right.
Die Hard versus Batman Returns.
Okay, let me pause for just a second and ask a question. Are there actually people who would argue that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, or are those people just like the ones that like to kind of inflame a conversation and devil's advocate kind of thing?
I'm not sure, but I bet, being a convert on Christmas, I bet that there are deep-rooted Christmas purists that feel like allowing that into the category is like perverting the category in some way.
I can see that. All right.
Like Anthony likes White Christmas and he likes Home Alone. I hope he likes Die Hard, but I imagine Christmas purists we're like, okay, fine, we got to talk about Die Hard since it's popular. Anthony, yes or no?
I don't care.
Good. Boom. Indifference.
It was released in the summer of
Die Hard was?
88 is in July.
Okay.
So
But set in Christmas time in Los Angeles. So
Right.
other than someone having a Santa hat on, there is no snow. But then I didn't have snow as a kid in my Christmas in Florida either.
people also argue Home Alone is not a Christmas movie, but it was released at Christmas time in 91 or whenever. So
Well, you know who's going to settle the score? This podcast right here. It made it on the list, therefore it's a Christmas movie or would not be included. So, back Die Hard versus Batman Returns. Christmas movie. Which one is better? If you had to watch one during the festive Christmas time, you got your cookies and your nog and the log on the fire, which of these two Christmas movies are you watching?
I mean, I'm going to say Die Hard mainly because the penguin in that movie is absolutely disgusting, and I cannot stand watching that movie. I love Batman, and I like that movie. I mean, like I've seen it a bunch of times, but every time we get to that part, as soon as he shows up, I'm just like grossed out. Don't want to watch it.
I like that they're both action movies. That's why I put them against each other.
Yeah.
But even with the actionness, I think that Die Hard still has some ho 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 moments. It reminds you that it's around Christmas time.
Yeah.
To whereas Batman Returns happened, they had the tree lighting and the whatever, and then it just kind of gets on with the movie.
Yeah, true.
Even though Michelle Pfeiffer in that movie was like my first like celebrity crush.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that did it. So Die Hard wins.
Yeah, yeah.
And Die Hard 2 was also a Christmas movie where they were in the airport.
Don't even remember it.
It was good.
I've seen it, but it's been so long.
Okay, the next side.
Okay.
We have the Muppet Christmas Carol versus Nightmare Before Christmas. Which, again, I'm sure some people are like,
Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween movie, good sir.
but I asked our resident Christmas expert,
Yeah.
producer Anthony behind the computer monitors, is it a Christmas movie? And he said yes.
I think it is. I mean, though, it's the whole idea is that somebody is finding Christmas for the first time.
Santa Claus is not trying to trick or treat.
Yeah.
Halloween guy is
Right.
trying to be Santa Claus.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Okay.
I appreciate the Nightmare Before Christmas. Technically, it's pretty amazing.
It's fantastic.
Again, some of the characters just pretty grody. Like I'm not a huge fan of like all of the Tim Burton stuff. I appreciate it. That's the thing. But Muppets Christmas Carol, it's a classic. It's Christmas. It feels only Christmas.
Yeah.
Nightmare Before Christmas feels Christmas-y, but also other things-y. So I'm gonna have to go with Muppets personally.
When I saw Nightmare Before Christmas, I was afraid. It scared me. My kids are liking it, but they watched it through the
Right.
grit of their fingers. But then eventually they just kind of enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
the first time it's
Yeah.
a little much.
Muppet Christmas Carol. I mean, that's Charles Dickens and Michael Caine. Like, come on. And Kermit.
Yeah,
Yeah. Muppet Christmas Carol. If you haven't watched it, it's great.
it is good.
Have you watched, is it on here? No, I took it off because I needed movies to remove. Scrooged with Bill Murray.
I have seen it, but it's been so long that I really don't remember much about it.
There is a Christmas movie that didn't make it on the list, and I've never seen it again. They had John Lithgow in it, and there was like a sleigh that was like powered by these candy canes, and he was like evil. I got to figure out what this movie was. Somebody out there has got to know what I'm talking about. But I watched it as a kid a lot, and it was kind of tense and a little scary.
Yeah,
But I've never seen it mentioned. I've never seen it on TBS or anything that's on like repeat.
interesting. So with the Muppets Christmas Carol, I've seen the Muppets one, obviously. I'm thinking of that one. But we also watched the Mickey's Christmas Carol a lot.
The cartoon?
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I think is even better.
Ooh,
And
okay.
that's not on the list here, but I think that is actually a little bit sweeter telling. Mainly because Scrooge McDuck is the perfect, like he captures the Scrooge perfectly, you know? So, anyway.
There's a whole line of Mickey-related Christmas time cartoons.
Yeah.
There's the Gift of the Magi that had him and Minnie Mouse, which was a story or a play. I don't remember where I knew the Gift of the Magi when I read it as a kid. And that's where he had to like sell the Christmas trees, and there was like a locket, and she had something else. I don't remember.
Yeah, the harmonica.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. That one was kind-hearted.
We have a couple of old DVDs that are like a collection of 3 or 4 different little Disney Christmas stories. And they're usually a couple of Mickey Mouse things and then another like small one is one of the old, what's the dude's name? This animator he ended up leaving Disney and doing a bunch of other stuff that you would absolutely recognize, and I cannot think of his name right now. Oh, man. Anyway, so Small One is one of those, and it's about the boy who had a donkey, and they had to sell the donkey because it wasn't holding its weight or carrying its weight at the farm. And so he went into town to sell it, ended up selling it to Joseph for Mary to ride on.
Aww.
And he didn't want it to be slaughtered. So he was trying to find somebody that would care for this donkey, and he was going to sell it just for enough for their family to, get something out of it. And so he sold it to, so it carried Jesus, and that was like his thing. But it's a really sweet little story, but it's on one of those collection DVDs from Disney from way back in the day.
Now, we've talked about, let me go down the list and make sure. Okay, Frosty didn't make it on the list. It's a cartoon. Yeah. But as far as like stop motion, Nightmare Before Christmas, we talked about Rudolph. There's also, was it the Here Comes, what is it?
Santa Claus is coming to town.
Santa Claus is coming to town. And the Little Drummer Boy.
Oh,
which you don't see as much.
Yeah, that's on one of our collection DVDs too, yeah.
There's a meme going around that's like, oh, you're about to have a baby? That's fine. Your baby is asleep. Let me serenade it with a drum solo. That's like the gift that Mary didn't want. Okay, so we have we're halfway through this. This is going a lot faster than I thought.
First round.
First round.
Yeah.
So we have the Grinch is about to face up after the next round. The Grinch versus Die Hard.
Woof. All right.
Home Alone versus Muppet Christmas Carol. So that's what we have in the next round. Yeah. So we're going to keep it going. The bottom half of the list, we have National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation versus It's a Wonderful Life.
Those are just polar opposites.
Yeah.
It really is a polar opposite, but it hits you different.
Yep.
Right. I feel like I've been going first on all these.
I've only seen It's a Wonderful Life once. And I remember watching it as a kid, and that's not a kid's Christmas movie. That's an adult.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like reminiscing Christmas movie, thinking about your choices in life and how you impact everyone else around you. So as a child, I think it's kind of lost. So when I watched it, I was not the audience. So Christmas Vacation, probably the same thing, I would argue.
Absolutely not a kid's movie.
Right, but having a lot more slapsticky,
Yeah.
peaks in the movie to keep my younger attention. There's a girl in a bikini. Wonderful Life didn't have a girl in a bikini. So I'm going to say Christmas Vacation. I appreciate It's a Wonderful Life. The story, I don't know if anybody knows this, but It's a Wonderful Life was the very first movie to have fake snow, to employ fake snow. Every other movie before that had like actual snow, and it crunched while the actors were talking. And so they would have to go in and dub all of the audio, and that's why old movies looked like that or sounded like that.
Yeah.
So It's a Wonderful Life was like a groundbreaking cinematic achievement. And then it was one of the first movies to just like be ignored so that the rights were opened up so like TBS and everybody else could put it on reruns.
Oh, really?
So that's why you know that movie. It's because nobody wanted to watch it. And so the rights just like, whatever. It's kind of open season or open source, or I don't know how movies work. So It's a Wonderful Life is kind of a pioneer in a couple different ways.
Interesting.
While the story's good too.
Yeah.
But again, it may hit me different now if I were to be forced to watch it.
So I had never seen it, It's a Wonderful Life, until maybe 2 years ago. After we moved here, one night, it was Christmas Eve, we were like, okay, kids are in bed finally. Now we have to go wrap all of our presents. And like we have 4 hours of wrapping ahead of us. And so in our bedroom, we have a TV that we only use for the treadmill, really. But we turned on It's a Wonderful Life. I was like, oh, I've never seen this before. Let's turn it on. and it's long. It's like, I think over 3 hours. I'm pretty
good
sure.
gracious.
And so we watched the entire thing and ended up finishing the presents and just kept watching it. And it's a tearjerker, man. It's good. And I'm glad that I didn't see it when I was young because I would have been bored. It's slow. It's like, it doesn't have those peaks like you're talking about. So I think as an adult, you know, it's definitely worth a view if you haven't. And I think doing it on Christmas Eve as you're wrapping stuff for your kids, it's a nice perspective. So I'm going It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay, noted. Oh, Clark. Clark just got passed.
ITWL. I'm shortening. All right, next up.
Good. Brevity. Okay, here's a classic that gets put on repeat for years and years, nonstop, and that, which I kind of don't understand. I'm kind of glad this is paired the way it is. We have Christmas Story, Ralphie, Red Ryder, BB gun, that whole deal, versus a newcomer, relative newcomer, the Netflix animated movie Klaus, which we talked about not too long ago. So it's Christmas Story versus Klaus. Mine is Klaus. I don't really like A Christmas Story.
So,
I don't understand the hype. It is the Return of the Jedi Boba Fett of Christmas movies for me. It does not live up to its hype.
I think I would agree with you in that it does not live up to the hype, but it also has like I'm trying to think of a good analogous thing here. Like, there's tons of terrible things that I love from when I was a kid. He-Man is terrible. Terrible, terrible.
Yeah.
But I still love it.
Right.
And I won't really watch it now, but I still love it. And I think, even though I never loved A Christmas Story, I think it did penetrate that it's a Christmas thing. This is part of Christmas for me. Just enough to, like, even though Klaus is very, very good. And if I watched them both now for the first time, it'd be like absolutely Klaus. But I think I'm going to have to go with Christmas Story.
I think The Christmas Story, if left, like, if wrapped up in the conversation with all these movies, it would hold a certain position. But because it's played on repeat, like nonstop for 24 hours of A Christmas Story, like, really? You have all these movies?
Yeah, that's
why that one? And you're
definitely
super diluting it.
Yeah,
so I'm just kind of sick of it.
Yep.
So,
all right,
Klaus,
other side.
Other side. Oh, here's one. I don't know if you've actually seen this one, but it was on the 65 greatest whatever Christmas movies that I talked about last week.
Yep.
Is Arthur Christmas versus Polar Express.
I've never seen either one.
Really?
Yep. I've seen like pieces of Polar Express and made me go, yeah, I don't really want to watch that. That looks super weird.
The theater in town shows Polar Express, and
They showed Die Hard too.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Didn't you go with us when we saw Die Hard? Or was that before you moved here?
I didn't go.
Yeah, they showed it at the theater.
Polar Express is not bad. It's creepy. It's ahead of its time. It tried to be
Uncanny Valley.
Yes.
Kinda, yeah.
It tried to be this like CG but most realistic humanoid kind of thing, and it made you uncomfortable.
Humanoid.
But then I learned that Tom Hanks is like a majority of the characters in that movie, which made me a little more uncomfortable, to be honest with you. Like, the story's not bad, I guess. It's strange. Ultimately, like all these, they like save Christmas somehow and they're on a train.
Yeah.
But Arthur Christmas is great. Arthur Christmas wins.
I'll default to that because it's been, you recommended it a couple times. So
I think if you watched Arthur Christmas, that you might cry.
yeah, I told the kids about it. We're definitely going to try to fit it in at some point this year. I don't know how this piece is supposed to go in this. I'm like building the Mandalorian's cod piece.
Okay. Last one of the...
Got it.
I don't even know, the semi-quarter quasi-finals. We have Elf, a new classic, versus Charlie Brown's Christmas.
Ooh.
Elf really isn't new anymore. It was 2003.
2003 was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well,
But
yeah.
way longer than Charlie Brown.
Not
That's
for
true.
the rest of these. I mean, it's maybe Arthur Christmas, Polar Express are newer, but Klaus, I mean, is probably the newest one on the list. That is tough because those are probably my two favorite Christmas movies. Elf is my favorite Christmas movie. But Charlie Brown Christmas is one that we it is one of the first things we watch every year. And throughout the year, my kids listen to the music on Alexa. It's just good. It gets right to the actual Christmas thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to go Elf, just because I don't want to cut Elf out. I don't want to cut.
Oh,
either
you
one
want to
of them
see
out.
Elf endure?
I think so. But honestly, those two would be my number 1 and 2 at the top level.
Well, this is a good bracket then.
Yep. Elf.
Had
Right.
to knock off Charlie Brown early, I suppose. All right, so that was the last of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 16, the round of 16. Everybody at home, how'd you do? Did you agree? Did you disagree?
We can hear you, so talk
Yeah,
out loud.
We don't know,
to
so
your
reach out
headphones.
to us. But I hope you're having a good time. I hope you're having fun this holiday season. So, the next round. Wait a minute. What did I say? I didn't even say. I'm saying Elf. Elf. Yeah. Yeah. Elf. Burr, burr.
Okay, so how are we gonna, like, we've talked about the movies themselves, so now, like, we can't talk about that we like Die Hard again. So we just have to decide. There's like less discussion.
Yeah, there's less exposition and more
Okay.
decision.
Ooh. All right, let's do it.
Home Alone versus Muppet Christmas Carol.
Home Alone.
Oh man, I don't know. I really like the Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Home Alone edges out. Because again, if they're like this TV that we're looking at right now, if one of those came on and I had to choose, I would choose.
No,
See, but even in the Home Alone, that's like, it's kind of not fair. Because I want to watch Home Alone 2. Maybe I'll just say Home Alone 2. I like Home Alone 2 better than Home Alone 1. So, Home Alone.
So there's a pre-bracket back there before the top level that's Home Alone 1 or 2, and you
Yeah.
can pick which one goes into the...
Sorry, Sir Michael Caine. You got beat out.
Sorry, Kermit.
Yeah, because then you're making me think about my choices in life. I just want to be entertained. Don't try to guilt trip me.
Lighten up Christmas. Come
Yeah,
on.
I know I was terrible in the past. Just let me move on. In the exact same way that I'm living. That's what Scrooge just wanted. Buy everybody a turkey and they'll be happy. Okay. The original Grinch versus Die Hard. You're a mean one.
I'm going Grinch.
Oh, I did not expect that.
I like Die Hard as a movie,
Yeah.
but if we're talking Christmas movie, it loses some luster up against a lot of other things.
Okay, well, let's open up this category then. So the Grinch, we said the OG Grinch. There are really 3 tentpole Grinch
I am
installations.
only talking about the original Grinch.
Okay, so you're just erasing all others from
Yes.
consideration.
Yes, it's
Okay.
like the prequel trilogy to me. It just
I think the newer one that Benedict Cumberbatch did, it's not bad.
I'm not saying they're all terrible.
Right.
I'm thinking of the original one.
Yeah.
That's my
We have the
Preference.
Grinch in the van, so if we go on a road trip, somehow it gets watched. And I've never watched it all the way through.
like. What do you mean?
The
Which one?
newer one.
Oh, okay.
The who makes that movie? It's not Pixar. It's the
Illumination.
other studio.
Illumination
Illumination.
one? Yeah.
It's not bad. I've never watched it all the way through. My kids super like it.
When it came out in the theater, my experience with that one is that it was a couple of years ago, and I was renovating a bathroom, and I was exhausted because I had been working nonstop like crazy. And we went to a movie, and I think it was The Grinch, and it started at like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And we walked in, and I sat down in that seat and fell asleep
You're done?
before the movie started and woke up in the credits. Saw 0 of it.
I think that's probably my experience.
And
too.
I don't think that has anything to do with the movie. I was just out. So
What about the live action Grinch? What about Jim Carrey's Grinch? Oh man, it was so disgusting and terrible. Ugh. Yeah. Okay. So, I'm voting for Die Hard.
oof. All right.
Yep.
So when we get done, on our champions are just gonna have to like battle out on the table.
Sure. Roll, rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Okay. We're getting close. Yeah, this is going a lot faster than I thought. So let's do National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation versus Arthur Christmas.
See, at this point, we're talking about different ones, though.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so
No,
this
no,
is
no, I
I'll do
mean,
mine and
yeah.
then you'll do yours.
Yeah. Okay. So
Okay, so mine is Christmas Vacation versus Arthur Christmas. I've seen Arthur Christmas a couple times, but it was very impactful. I have seen Christmas Vacation a lot of times, and it has the peaks.
okay.
So my kids have not watched Arthur Christmas because they want to watch it with me, which is great. But I have not watched Christmas Vacation, and I want to watch it with my wife.
Because you don't want to watch it with them.
Yeah, so
That's funny.
it really is right now kind of even. It's kind of split.
Yeah.
It has the very iconic one-liners, has a decent story, but it also drags in some places.
Yeah.
So, ooh. I'm going to say Christmas Vacation.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to say Christmas Vacation.
Do you feel like, and it's been a long time since I've seen it, so this is not this is not leading anywhere. I'm just curious. Do you feel like Christmas Vacation has you walk away from that movie with like a Christmassy feeling, message, purpose,
I'm not
something or other?
enlightened with, I'm not
Well-
imparted with Christmas spirit.
Okay, that's a
But-
good way to put it. Yeah.
I think, like in the Arthur Christmas, and then there's Klaus over here, both of those movies are really good and take a unique take on Santa Claus in a cartoon way. There's really no proper comparison to Christmas Vacation.
Right.
So I think that's why. Its uniqueness in the genre, it got the vote. Arthur Christmas is great. It's a Christmas cartoon that has the sleigh and has the
Yeah.
Buddy the Elf kind of like, no, you all need to believe kind of thing. It does it in a different way, but ultimately that's its roots.
Right. Gotcha. All right. So my comparison here, my whatever bracket, I don't know how brackets work. I don't do basketball. It's a Wonderful Life and Arthur Christmas, and I've never seen one of them, so I'm going It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we have one more round in the quarterfinals left. And what is yours?
Mine is Christmas Story and Elf, and I'm going Elf. Like,
Yeah,
that's
an
a
easy.
no-brainer.
Mine is Klaus and Elf, which is a shame because I really like Klaus. Like I liked both of those cartoons, and they both got knocked out, which is unfortunate for them. But I'm going with Elf. Yeah,
All right.
Elf is great. Elf was great. Okay, we're down to the whatever other finals where there's only going to be two, the demi-finals. All right, I have Die Hard versus Christmas Vacation. What do you have? What's your first
I
round?
have Grinch and It's a Wonderful Life.
Ooh,
Yeah.
it's getting more challenging to weed them out.
I think I'm going to have to go Grinch for mine just because brevity.
It's true.
You get to feelings faster. And it's a combination of lighthearted, fun, cute, and Christmas spirit stuff. Whereas It's a Wonderful Life is kind of like a downhill.
It starts off with suicide.
Yeah, it's a downhill trip with a little ramp at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a big ramp at the end, but
Right.
it's mostly downhill for the entire time. So I think I'm going to go Grinch.
Grinch.
Man, I'm getting down to Grinch. Ugh. This is the last round. Tough.
Die Hard and Christmas Vacation. In the Christmas spirit, Christmas Vacation wins. Just out of just sheer volume of Christmassiness.
Yeah, right. That's where mine was against, Grinch just outdid
Yep.
the amount of Christmas. Yep. All right, so on my other side, I've got Home Alone and Elf.
I have Home Alone and Elf.
I also have Home Alone and Elf.
Oh man, and Anthony's a diehard Home Alone fan.
I'm going Elf.
I am also going Elf.
Yep. Again, it has more Christmas.
So the point of Elf is that you're seeing the movie through the like childlike wonder of an adult. And so it tries to remind you as an adult or even as a kid, because it's just fun and relatable, but like that things don't have to be as stuffy and corporate-y, and that's like an all-around good message. And it's just kind of funny and silly, and it's relatable in its funny and silliness because it's in kind of your world. Home Alone,
kind
it's
of
just
the
like,
opposite.
yeah, it's you're in the real world, but nothing in there obeys the laws of physics.
This
Nothing.
kid has to act like an adult, kind of, and
Yeah, like they should be dead several times over. And so it's a slapsticky, like screwball kind of film. And then I feel like him being scared of like the old man and then them sitting in the church and him learning about his mom. Actually, like the Christmas twist on it is like an afterthought.
yeah,
It just seems like let's hurt
It's
some
the
people who are
setting.
trying to break into my house.
yeah. Christmas is the setting.
Yeah, that's the point.
Right.
To whereas Elf is it is I would say shining a light on the fact that you as an adult could have grown out of the Christmas spirit and tries to bring you back. and it's just great. I can watch with my kids. They take something out of it. I take something out of it. It's entertaining across the board. The peaks that we talked about in other movies aren't really as peaky. It's good.
In Elf, you don't think there is peaky?
I don't think that there's the difference between a peak and a valley is much narrower.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
The peaks are less because it's just all Christmassy fun the whole way.
I gotcha.
I mean, if you answer the phone, buddy, Elf, what's your favorite color? Like, it's so silly and goofy.
Yeah.
But like every little moment is filled with like some fun Christmas nuance.
Speaking of, if anybody has not seen if you're listening and you have not watched the Movies That Made Us on Netflix, a lot of them are great, but the one about Elf is fantastic. It shines a whole different light on why that movie was made and how it was made and stuff like that. I thought it was really cool. Okay, well, that's my. Are you done? Are you through all of yours?
What did we say? That was Home Alone and Elf, right?
Yeah.
All right, so now we're in the championship round.
Okay. What is your
My championship round is Christmas Vacation and Elf.
What is yours, Anthony?
Christmas Vacation versus Home Alone.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Listener out there in the world, what do you have? Should reach out to us and let us know because I want to hear it.
Mine is Grinch and Elf.
Ooh, I think I can't speak. Who wins? There's nostalgia, there's song, there's redemption.
Yeah.
There's some redemption in Elf.
So I think if you had asked me this 5 years ago, or maybe 10 years ago, my kids are getting older, it would have been Grinch. And the reason for that is because it's my wife's favorite Christmas thing at all. And so once we got together, it was a thing that we always watched, just the two of us. And it was just like a fun little, we watched a cartoon for Christmas and then once we had kids, we made them watch it a lot. They love it, even though it's like way before their time and all that type of stuff.
Animation is bad.
Well, they like it. I mean, they've never complained about that type of stuff. But I will say that in the past few years, I've enjoyed watching Elf with them more, or all of us watching those two movies together. I think I enjoy watching Elf with them more.
Yeah, I think the little one-liners and the things that you can walk away, the movie is more impactful, I think. Yeah, my wife absolutely loves Elf. It's probably her favorite Christmas movie, and like that. When the movie's over, she'll start saying all the little lines from it, and just smile on her face. That wasn't there for Grinch.
Right. Yeah.
And in mine, those moments may be there, but they are far fewer in Christmas Vacation.
It does have those.
It does.
For sure.
And they're silly. They're really stupid.
Yeah.
I think Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character, the neighbors, I love those neighbors. More than Cousin Eddie at all. I love the neighbors in that movie. And I don't know why they hate each other. I just assume that they do. I think it's great. I think it's funny. But when I see these two movies, I can see the look on my wife and my kid's face while we're watching it, and then right after it's over, it affects them a certain way, and that's why Elf wins for me.
Yep. Me too. Anthony, I know what your answer is, but you still got to say it.
It was Home Alone.
Home Alone.
Anthony, we could have figured that.
Yeah. I mean, John Williams soundtrack
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's also, if somebody asks me, what's your favorite movie? Not Christmas movie. The answer is Home Alone.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Could have guessed.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It is excellent. And that's the thing. A lot of these are great when they're not compared to anything. And that sounds bad. That's not what I mean. But like, if you're not trying to weed them down to only watch one or to have a favorite or whatever, a lot of these fill a lot of places, and have a lot of really positive things about them. So.
And the only reason that we're comparing them is because they happen to take place in a season. Like chronologically throughout the year, it has a seasonality to it, and that's really the only reason that one would be picked over the other.
Now, there is an entire other group of movies that I think you could do this exact same thing with and not touch any of these. There's more than enough. Christmas Chronicles is newer.
I've never seen that. I've heard people.
It's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
The Santa Claus, that
Oh
series.
yeah. Oh yeah. It didn't make it on here.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Tim Allen's Santa
that's pretty
Claus?
far up there, honestly.
That was really good.
Yeah.
My kids have watched because when Disney Plus came out, it was on Disney Plus, and we watched it, and they really liked it, and they asked if they could watch it again. It's super clever.
Yeah. And there's a couple of those. I don't remember how many.
Is there something on here? Like, how far on your list would the Santa Claus, Tim Allen Santa Claus, gotten?
It probably would have made it into the second round.
Okay, the 8.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah. And I've only seen it a couple of times, so
Yeah.
it's not. I enjoyed it, but it's not one that I've watched a whole bunch.
There's more to those, right? They made sequels
Yeah.
to
I think
them?
there were 2 or 3. I don't remember exactly, but yeah.
To your credit, Josh, there's people falling off of roofs in that movie too.
The Santa Claus?
Yeah.
Oh, he did. Because there was the Rose Suchik Ladder Company, which I thought was pretty clever. So
He killed Santa Claus.
he did.
They just kind of.
I mean,
over that.
spoiler alert.
So people at home, I hope that, like I said, I'll make this available on our social media before the episode comes out. So if you want to take this and you want to follow along with us and yell at us and tell us why we're wrong or why you're right, we can't hear you, but I mean, it would be cool. I like to think that the people who listen are talking back to us in some kind of way. And then I hope if it was important enough, you could reach out on social media because I like that this is a conversation.
Yeah, and
between
this
us
is fun. Like,
and
yeah, I
whoever.
mean, it's funny that you and I actually ended up at the same place, but Anthony didn't, and these are just our favorites. So you can
Right.
have your own favorites and still like to hear about it. Doesn't mean anybody's right or wrong. What else we got? I don't know how long we've been recording because our timer's
we're at 42 minutes.
42 minutes.
Do we have some best worst? I know we've been doing a Christmas themed best worst all
I
of
will
December.
pull those up right now.
Let's keep making some Mandalorian.
How far have you gotten on your?
I have his torso with the bandolier.
Yep. I've got just a little bit past
Oh, you have
that.
his head.
I have his head. No, you were supposed to do the head before the.
Was I?
Oh no. Sorry, before the other part.
Oh, I'm on his head right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not that far behind.
I took a break because I'm at the legs and they're kind of confusing. You have to pay attention to them. That's one hard thing about doing this show, is that some of these things that we build, you do have to pay attention, and it's hard to pay attention to listening and talking and looking at instructions, and which I know is ironic because that's not the name. You got any best worst?
Yeah, I pulled some up now. The first thing I saw isn't necessarily best worst, but I think it would be fun to hear you all talk about.
Okay.
Wade Glass brought up the idea of Elf on the Shelf, and it's
Somebody asked me about Elf on the Shelf.
Okay.
that's
Well,
just the worst for me
Let
to
me.
start with.
So if you're listening to this and you happen to have kids, you want to switch the camera back?
Oh, yeah,
from there?
sorry.
If you're listening with kids, this might be a good time to pause.
If your really fun elf likes to cause a lot of mischief in your house, then maybe you should pause this.
This is adult.
Yeah,
elf,
because
secret
we don't
elf
want to
talk.
tell your kids how to catch the elf. If
Yep.
that's what they do. I don't know if that's what
right.
I don't know if that's what they do. I've
So
never done it.
that is our spoiler warning type situation. Okay, Elf on the Shelf.
I've never done it, and as far as the people who do it, I'm very glad I never did it.
Yeah. Okay, so we've never done it until like last year, I think. Our youngest started asking about it because one of his friends has one.
Stupid
And
friends.
we talked about it, and I was like, Jenny, don't do that. It's like a thing we have to keep up with, and like every night you got to go find another thing for them to do, and they're going to ask questions about the thing, and it's just like another thing. And we don't do Santa.
Right.
I'm not against Santa or anything. I believed in Santa when I was a kid. We just don't do it. And because it's like extra effort to make up stuff. I don't want to do that. And then all of a sudden, this elf shows up at our house. Because my
Yeah.
daughter thought
What?
it would be cute for my youngest son to get the thing that he wanted. And I'm just like, all right, I'm hands off.
Yep.
This is not a thing I am touching. You guys are 1,000% responsible for this. So there is one at our place, and it does all the things.
What
Well,
what
isn't
is
the
the
whole-
deal with the
whole
elf on the
notion
shelf?
is like,
So, go ahead.
the elf is watching and reporting back to Santa, if
Right.
I'm not mistaken. Is that
Yep.
what it's all about?
That's
Oh,
the whole
he's a
idea.
spy.
He's a spy, and
He's a behavior influencing spy.
he is spying on you. A kid cannot touch him, or it loses its magic.
Oh, he's like cotton candy, like he just like
So
dissolves,
it's around the house, and they can't mess with it. It's not a toy.
Huh.
But then every night while they sleep, it goes around and does some mischief, finds a new thing to get into while it's waiting for them to wake up.
That seems like a bad
So every
example.
night, the parents have to move this thing and create a situation, or move it and make a little thing. You know, it's like dumping over the nuts and like spilling the water and like breaking the thing. It's stuff to do every night for every week, every night of December or whenever. I don't know how everybody else does
it's-
the timing, but
Self-induced chaos.
exactly, it's work, daily work.
It sounds like more than work. It sounds like that little rag doll made a huge mess that I made. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe tomorrow I have to clean it up.
Yeah.
Like all in the name of like
it's
behavior
in the name,
surveillance.
It's in the name of magic. It's in the name of like letting the kid have fun with
I don't let my kids
the magic, the magic of Christmas, all of that stuff. I get that. I'm not against that. It's work that I'm too lazy to want to put the effort into. For me personally, not against it. Kids love it. And for a lot of people, that is the absolute most important thing around this season, is for the kids to feel the joy and the magic and all the fun of all the things. And I totally get that. So that's my opinion.
So as somebody that believed in Santa growing up, I don't know, you're probably too young to remember, like, not because I don't remember, like, did Santa really affect your behavior?
No.
Did they like, well, Santa's watching, so you better not hit your sister kind of thing? Like, I don't know if I was ever really that strong of a motivator to not do something.
I don't think I ever
supposed to do.
got that from people. I never got the like guilt, performance-based present thing. It was just the present showed up with Santa's name on them. So I never felt that,
So do
tension
the elves have the elf on the shelf? Like, does it have a name? Do you name it?
Yeah,
Do you get your own little personal
when
surveillance?
it shows up for the first time, it's like it leaves a note. It often leaves a note, which is another thing that the parent has to write.
So you're keeping up an alter ego.
Yeah.
So this is kind of fun, I would imagine. Some people I could see could have like parent fun with this.
Some people have a blast with it. They go all out, create giant chaos in their house, and blame it on the elf, which is fun for some people to. I again am too lazy to want to clean up a mess that doesn't need to be there.
That's a fact.
But people do have a lot of fun with it. We have some friends who do it, and they go pretty far out there, and they love it.
I would say,
parents love it.
Yeah, that huzzah for that.
Yeah. Huzzah, indeed.
I try to manage my life in the most chaos-free way that I can. So I think if an elf on the shelf showed up in my house and caused chaos, it would be very believable that the elf did it, and that I was not the one who did this.
I would
my dad would
do that.
definitely not do any of these things on purpose.
Yeah.
So then the elf must be real. So then they better be good.
I don't know.
If that tactic works, please let me know if it actually does influence your child's behavior.
I
Because
could see
I'm
that it
getting
would.
tired of just repeating myself over and over again. I can just like point at the elf.
It only works on certain kids. I'll say it that way.
But my kids don't.
Doesn't
I
work
mean,
on
my
all my
kids have
kids.
never done Santa, so it's not like
Yeah.
they would have to report back. He would have to. The elf would have to like have some type of prize, like a leprechaun lore that like the winner of the being good during Christmas time, the elf will reward with a treasure. That's a different spin.
I don't know. You can make up your own lore for it, It's more work, but yeah, you could.
I could see where it could be fun for a group of people who are not me.
There's a lot of things that could.
Yeah, I get it.
Yep. All right, what else we got?
Nah.
All right, well, this ties into a really good one. So we're going to do best and worst Christmas tradition.
Oh.
Which this sounds like this might be your all's worst.
Tradition. I mean, that's a pretty broad.
Have I told the story about the monkey on the tree?
Oh, you've told me. I don't know if it's made it on.
I think new listeners may not know. My kids really don't like it. So our Christmas tradition, when my wife and I first got married, like we didn't have any money. We were super poor, and we got a fake tree from some family member. Like we didn't have decorations, and we didn't have a star or an angel or any of those things. Like my parents had this raggedy one that somebody made, and my brother and I would fight over who got to put it on the top. And so when my wife and I got married, we didn't really have anything. And I had this, it was a Beanie Baby monkey. It's like black, has a little tan, whatever face. And a little Chick-fil-A Eat More Chicken like sign. They used to come on the little cows that somehow somebody gave me this cow from Chick-fil-A. And the little sign, when I was in college, I would put the little Eat More Chicken sign on the doorknob that was like, don't come in here. There's stuff that you don't need to open this door.
Right.
That's what that thing was. And so I would keep it on the monkey in my room. And so just in the boxes, the very few boxes of random stuff I had from my past when we moved into our first place, I had a monkey with an Eat More Chicken. What's that thing called? The big sign? It's not a poster board thing. It's like
It's a sign.
sandwich board, whatever kind of thing. Yeah.
Like you wear.
Right.
Right.
So that's what we have on the top of our tree in place of a star or an angel or any other very iconic Christmas decor. I have a Beanie Baby monkey with an Eat More Chicken sign that has been there.
So Christmas makes you think of the best parts of college.
Yeah. And my kids hate it. They think it is ugly and it is stupid. And my wife and I laugh that they don't like it. And we go, no, it stays because it means something to us. And whenever you become poor and on your own, you can make your own dumb traditions.
Yeah.
And this year, my wife had a fantastic idea. And she got all the kids little tiny Christmas trees that they could keep in their room. And then they could decorate it however they wanted to.
Yeah.
And all of them have stars. And so they're very happy that they got stars on their tree. But our tree in our house has a Beanie Baby monkey with an Eat More Chicken sign on it that has a questionable past, but he is proudly represented.
We kind of had stuff like that where, when we were first married, we didn't have, you collect the decoration, the ornaments and stuff over the years and everything. And we had some from when we were kids that our parents had given us, but it wasn't enough to fill out a tree. So I think the first year we had a tree, we were like, we need some more stuff. And so we just started collecting a bunch of random little tiny things to fill the space. And we were at dinner one time somewhere, and they had one of the little quarter machines, gumballs, and then there's like tattoos and whatever. And there were a whole bunch of these little, what were they called? They were called homies.
Homies, little gang member things. Yeah.
So we bought a whole bunch of homies, and then next to them they had these little, they weren't Power Rangers, but they looked kind of like Power Rangers on keychains. And they were about the same size as homies. Homies are these little plastic homies, in case you don't remember that.
Little gang member looking toy things you buy in like little quarter machines at the barbershop.
So we got a bunch of those, and the ones that had keychains fit on the tree easily. And then we ended up making somehow a way to hang some of the homies. But anyway, we had a bunch of these random little quarter toys on our trees for many years. And they've disappeared over the years. They've,
I think those have value now.
Homies do?
I think they do.
Did you play with muscles when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah?
The little stocky looking?
Yeah, the pink guys?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I didn't know if that was before you, because I feel like I was still pretty young.
I had some. Popular. I don't know where they came from. But another thing that we have is we have Christmas ornaments from the White House Christmas Association, whatever. Every year, the White House commissions a new Christmas ornament, and my uncle has worked in the White House forever, and so every year he would get us, like our family would get one, and they started in 88 or 86, one of those, and so we have one Christmas ornament, like we've gotten one every single year, and so my mom used to buy them for us, and now my dad buys them for us, and we just got the most recent one, and regardless of president or whatever, like the White House, the building, what that means, means a lot to me. And so every year to have a new ornament, we have a tiny little tree that's in the front room, and that's our White House Christmas ornament tree. And so
it's all of those on one
all
tree?
of those on one
that's
tree.
Cool.
Yeah. And so some of them are super ornate and fancy, and it's really neat. So it's something that every year we've always gotten, and makes our Christmas a little different. A monkey on a tree, White House Christmas ornaments that you don't play with because they're breakable.
Cool.
Homies is a cool idea.
Yeah, you should have a whole homie tree. As far as traditions, I don't know. That's hard to say best tradition because we've had a bunch over the years. One of the things that I remember the most as a kid, that I miss, that I appreciated about Christmas, was my grandparents that lived here in town, the one that we live in their old house. So my dad has two brothers, and they all live in town here. But on Christmas Eve, my grandparents would come to our house. So the other two brothers and their families were off at other, families' houses. So it always felt really special because on Christmas Eve, they came just to our house. And we always had dinner with them. So it was the five of us and my grandparents. And then they always brought us a separate present. We would get presents at their house on Christmas Day as well, but they would always bring the three of us, me and my brother and sister, some little something.
Score.
And I don't know, there's not much to that other than I remember feeling a little bit special that they came to us on Christmas Eve. We would get the present, we would sit around, a lot of times we would play, my brother and sister and I would play a song on piano that we'd been working on to kind of for our parents and grandparents, and then we would all get in the car together and we'd go drive around and look at Christmas lights. And it was 7 to 8 o'clock, driving around town, just looking at lights, Christmas music on. And then we'd get home, they would leave. And at that time it was all right, Christmas is tomorrow. You have to be in bed.
Yeah.
And so it was at that point, we did all this awesome stuff. We had fun together, felt kind of special. And now the sooner I can get to bed, the sooner Christmas will be here.
Right.
And that was something about that as a Christmas Eve. I really enjoyed that. And I appreciated it at the time. Like I remember being a kid thinking, this is really cool because I have several cousins and they could be with my cousins, but they chose to be with us for whatever reason. I mean, maybe it wasn't because we were special, just worked out that way. But that was, I think, one of my favorite ones that I miss. You know, us and our own families have our own traditions now and stuff. But yeah, I miss that one.
I'm a recent convert to Christmas. Not that Christmas as a kid were particularly bad. I mean, I was a selfish kid, and my parents probably didn't deserve any of this non-thoughtful Christmas tradition holdover. But I don't know. My wife converted me, and so she has done more for my non-humbuggery than I think anyone. And our house looks fantastic. I put up Christmas lights. Last night, everybody. I did it. Yay. I cursed under my breath so many times, and probably above my breath. Baby, I'm sorry. House looks nice. You are fantastic. You did a great job. But she's winning me over. Good. And so we do let's go get some cookies and some eggnog and go look at the lights, and we're going to go to Anthony's house, go check out his light show, and it's fun. And as crazy as all of our children are, I love them, and I love them as around Christmas time and how they react around Christmas time. And I wrap presents now, which I hated wrapping presents, and then I figured out the little squares on the back, and so I can mathematically wrap the most advantageous present. Beautiful, and now it's a little puzzle. So I'm being won over by Christmas. It's working.
Good. All right, worst. We gotta wrap it up. But worst tradition. Let's just go with the world's common traditions, the thing that we think is just the worst that most people do.
Living in Europe, they do Christmas, I will argue, better than we do here in the States. They have Christmas markets. It is super festive. Anthony would love it. One thing that I loved about Christmas markets, it was great. One thing I did not like, which a lot of people are going to get mad at me for, our overseas listeners, is Glühwein, is Christmassy spiced hot wine. It's a thing, a big thing. I do not like it. It burned my mouth. I was not expecting it. So Glühwein, as amazing as it is, and I'm losing points. I'm sure I did not like it, and y'all can keep that.
Have you ever had glog?
No, that sounds disgusting.
It's not. It's good. So, I as far as I understand, I could be absolutely wrong. So, take that for what it is. That is a general name for a spiced kind of cider drink from the Nordic countries.
Okay, it's probably
it may be similar
same kind of,
and that's what made me think of it, because it describes the same, but it's not a wine. You can put alcohol in it, but it's not alcoholic. So the first time I had glog, they had it at IKEA, and in that, as you're checking out, there's food.
The lingonberry section.
Yeah. So we got some of this glog, and it was a little bottle. I don't know, maybe not even 32 ounces, less than that. And you can, if you drink it straight, it's too much. It's really strong and syrupy almost. But if you boil some water, not boil, heavily heat some water, and then kind of do 1-to-1 mixture of glog and water, it's very, very good. It's not overpowering. It's kind of sweet, kind of spicy. I don't know, but I found it that one time, and I think maybe the next year, and then after that, I've never seen it again. My brother and sister-in-law were recently at IKEA, and they asked if we needed anything, because it's a Christmas glog, is only there at Christmas, I'd assume. So I told them about it, and they couldn't find it, but then they found some other thing it sounds similar, but the bottle's totally different. It's way bigger, has a different description on it. So we haven't tried it yet, and I can't even think of the name of it. It's some IKEA name. Boykin. I don't know what it is.
Ferd. Ferd hat brand.
Something. But anyway, glogs, if you can ever find glog, and I'm sure true glog from the old country is probably even better than what they have at IKEA, but that's
grog. Grog is a traditional drink.
Right.
It's a military, I don't know, it's probably over, but you would take an alcohol representative of all the places that your unit has been in battle, and you mix it in a big pot
I've heard that
and you drink it.
name, but yeah, it's not that at all.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's absolutely terrible.
Where I didn't come up with the worst tradition. I don't know. Yeah, the elf on the shelf maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, hands down.
There are several things that we don't do, but I totally understand why. When I think of the things that are meaningful to me around Christmas traditions, I can understand why something else would be meaningful to somebody else in a totally different way that just didn't hit with me. You know?
You guys read the Christmas story
We do.
from the Bible?
Yep. Yep. We always read, I think we usually read from Luke.
Yeah, we do.
Night of. And it's funny because we never plan that ahead, but it always happens.
Right.
But it's always like we're scrambling at the last minute to like, okay, which one are we going to read? Like, where does it start? And like, you know. But yeah, beginning of Luke, I think is usually where we go. So anyway, I hope this gave you some Christmassy stuff, some feelings around the holidays, and I hope you got your bracket down to something.
I'll post a bracket on our social media.
Let us know what you think wins in your household. It's not going to change Elf for me, but
Also wins. I want to go home and watch it right now.
yeah, we haven't watched it yet this year. And if you have any best and worst, the best place to get those to us, I mean, you can send them on Twitter, but if you're part of the Maker Alliance, the best place is on Discord. So jump in the Discord and have a chat with us. Leave us some best, worst. And if you're not aware, the Maker Alliance is a group of people who support what we do, back what we do, and it's also a community of people that get to hang out, and they're doing their own Secret Santa this year.
I got my gift.
Oh, you're doing it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been a part of it for no particular reason. I just didn't.
I opened mine. I don't think I was supposed to yet, but whatever. I'm grown up. I can do what I want.
Yeah. So they're doing a Secret Santa on Discord, which is pretty cool. And if you want to join the Maker Alliance, go to Maker. I like to make stuff.com/join. I don't know if we have a URL other than that, but yeah. Anyway, you got anything else?
No, man.
Cool. We'll do another show before Christmas. This isn't our only Christmas one, but if you don't get to listen to that future show, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye. Okay. Can you take a screenshot that we can use for...
Well, I had an idea.